alright with you?
As long as you don't hold it against me.
We'll try not to. But
Cool. Tell me.
So before we start,
yeah,
go for it.
yeah. Should I do the intro?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we already met you, obviously.
Yeah.
But could you just state your name really quickly and what it exactly is that you do within the firm?
Okay, my name is José van Kruistem, and I'm the office manager and executive assistant for at Leisure. What I've done since I joined is the interior of this new office, taking care that everything was designed, actually built in this new office, and keeping the timelines, and then when everything was finished, the move from the old office to this office. And now I'm the office manager of this location. I'm taking care of office management, facility management, and some assistance for the C team.
Is that so? Does that also include people management, or more of a day-to-day basis?
That is more on a day-to-day basis. It's just I'm a one-person department actually,
right.
So I'm not the manager of other office managers or assistants or something, because that's not existing here. And but I was involved in the recruitment process for the office manager for Eindhoven, and we are in regular contact, and also with the other office managers of the other locations as well.
Okay. Do you think when you so of course this is a very nice office space and
Thank you.
very hospitable and nice. Do you compared to other places where you've either worked or observed, do you think employees here have a more do you notice a difference in their motivation while they're working here? Do they seem more, at peace, productive, or
compared to more cubicle type environment?
Yeah, I do. What I see here is that people really like to work here, and also that they make use of the different facilities here in the office. So if they have a one-to-one meeting, they go to a meeting room where you can have a one-to-one meeting, most often with a couch to make it less formal. And also if they're really stressed or finished a project or whatever, they take time to do some table football or whatever to relax, and also to get together and interact between colleagues. And I'm not sure, we have to check that with HR, but I also have the feeling that we have less sickness than before.
Right.
Yeah.
Curious to know, so like I guess you would say the traditional fear for managers would be that in an open environment, in an open office sort of plan where you have a lot of amenities, that might be a negative factor for productivity and efficiency, because maybe they're more likely to distract it or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's conflicting accounts as to whether or not them feeling more well here makes them more productive and fosters better teamwork. Do you have a particular take on it? Have you observed that maybe it's really not a problem, or maybe
especially with all the amenities that are presented? I mean, if people use them often, it actually helps them, and they're more productive after they use them.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the kind of job you do. If you're in sales, or if you're then there's more interaction in the team. So the salespeople, they are really gathering together and communicate a lot about their experiences, about setup, about plans, about whatever. And what I see is, or for example, my own experience, sometimes when I really need to concentrate because I'm on the open floor as well, then I find it really disturbing if people are having conversations at the desk. And the rule is that if you have a one-to-one meeting, or if you start a conversation and it takes longer than 5 minutes, you should move to a meeting room or to the hub, and that sometimes doesn't happen. So that I find that disturbing myself.
We also noticed, speaking with some of the other people, that it tends to be that, for example, we just spoke with several finance people. They have just the nature of their work. Sometimes they need to just be able to concentrate, so they find themselves more either in a more secluded place, whereas salespeople
Exactly.
or customer service are more prone to either engaging with other people within the firm and needing
True.
that contact.
Yeah.
Do you observe that? Do you think that's how do you think a floor plan like this accommodates that? Do you think it balances those needs well? Would you say?
Yeah, well, if people really need to focus on their work, then they move to the focus room or the silence room. And you see that happening, especially with finance people or people from the data insights team. They really need to focus at work. So they use that room more than others.
Right.
Yeah, and also you see it happening on different days. For example, today is a really busy day in the office, so a lot of noise on the floor. And if you would have been here yesterday, then it was really quiet. So then people spread their work over the week. At least that's what I do. On Mondays and Wednesdays, it's always really busy, and then I know a lot of people will be at my desk asking me questions. And so on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I plan my concentration work. So.
As far as the sort of obviously in firms, there's a sort of a natural hierarchy between senior management. And with a more traditional, typical sort of compartmentalized situation, it's very clear that these big offices in the corner with the nice windows will be senior. But here it seems that, of course, some managers have their own sort of offices and whatnot. But how would you describe the impact of there being some more like just open flow between more senior employees and junior ones? Do you think that creates nervousness, or do you think it's okay, healthy? Well, what do you observe?
I think it's more the type of person you are. What I see happening here is that really young people easily connect with management or elderly people, and also I see people that from nature are very shy or are not outgoing, and they hardly interact with anybody. So also not with management. But I don't see that like in other companies, I agree. It's really easy to talk to somebody in the management team. You can approach them when they are at the round table. You can make an appointment via me, or it's really easy, easier than in other companies to communicate with them.
Do you think that helps with like unity of the company, or that people feel one with the company and kind of follow the core values, and I guess company culture is more defined?
Yeah, well, people are really result driven, and they really are proud of what they're doing, and they can define their own goals, and are also very productive in their own way. So they don't necessarily need a manager who tells them, you should do this and this and this, because everybody is so well experienced, so they can find their own way, and that's what you also. And there's a lot of trust. That's people. If people say I'm gonna do this, then they're really gonna do it. Then you don't have to check upon that. And also, what I see here a lot is that people, some people here have jobs that you could do from whatever location, even from home or abroad or whatever. And what I see here that is, if they live very far away from the office, that they come here, that they work from home first, travel after the traffic jam, come here at about 10:30, work here until 7, and then go home after the traffic jam. And it's possible to have that flexibility because everybody is taking care of their own work and make sure that it's done. And you see in the end that they work more hours than normal office hours. So then they can have that flexibility.
It also seems to be the case that people seem more inclined to say that, if the office environment feels more like a home and it feels, then they don't, it's not a chore. It's not like I have to do it. They feel comfortable if they can.
Contributes to the culture maybe as well.
Absolutely.
When the office indeed how the previous guy we just interviewed, I think his name was
Maarten?
Martin. Yes, he's in finance obviously, but he really talked about how it's important to him that it's it feels homely by certain colors of the lights and that it feels warm, and maybe that also gives the impression that it's a nice place to be. Yeah. Which does that contribute to the culture as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also the themes here in the office for the design. That if you compare that with our former office, that it was grey and dark, and the climate was really bad.
Right.
So a lot of people were complaining about the climate, and then they got ill from it. And in the wintertime it was much too cold, and in the summer it was much too warm. So that was really difficult. And here the climate is much better.
Do you see the difference between people, but when they were in the old office and the new one? Or is that something you'd say maybe they work the same, or they're motivated, or just overall happiness and well-being?
I think happier. Also, what we have agreed upon in our former office, we just had a small kitchen with a small table. So if you had to have lunch there, you had to wait until there was a seat available. And now you can have lunch in between 12 and 3 if you like, and there's always a seat or somebody to have lunch with. And that makes it more flexible. And also we say, because DDoC designed this office in the healthy healing offices concept, that's why we also provide the lunch with salad and cucumber and pepper and whatever.
It's delicious.
The lunch is very good. Yeah,
thank you. And so people find it really important because, and that's also why we provide it. They pay a small amount per day, and then they can join for the lunch. And it takes me a lot of time of the day, but everybody benefits from it. And that means that if people are working here full time, and if they want to have lunch, they can have lunch within half an hour instead of going out and being in a restaurant close by, and will be out for 1.5 hours or even longer. So this saves them money, and it makes them more flexible, and also you meet other people that you normally don't connect with.
Have you been to the Eindhoven?
Yeah.
Do you notice that we understand it's also a somewhat open layout, but we heard, I think one of the people described it as maybe like 5 years behind its style. What this is. I don't know how familiar you are with it, but do you notice some sort of a difference between the people who work there? Like, if there's some sort of a qualitative thing that you can put your finger on and say, maybe this is a bit different, how the people here feel?
Yeah. Here, everybody interacts with everybody. And of course, this is a smaller office than Eindhoven. But in Eindhoven, I see people just walking past each other. And they never ever communicate. They never even know what the name of the other person is. And here, for example, if somebody is standing at the counter and there's somebody knocking on the door, then everybody opens the door. And I've experienced over there the first time I came over to that office. Then people just walk past the door and they don't even open the door or meet and greet or whatever. So that's a real difference. Yeah, it's more individual, more your own department, and that's it.
It's pretty crazy actually. You see the difference.
Is there maybe a thing you would change or improve at this office, or maybe a thing that you find?
That you maybe want to improve on, if any sector in this office that I don't know might be lacking in something?
I think what would have been good if we would have had a bigger meeting room that easily fits 20 to 30 people in, because we don't have that. And the idea was to have that here in the open space, but that is not always possible due to the content of the meeting. So sometimes we have to go outside, even though we have all these square meters. We have to go outside for a meeting because we don't have a big meeting room. That's just the one thing I would change. And furthermore,
I think it's worth.
Yeah, for me it is. And what I'm really proud of is that DDoC has really listened to all the different departments what they needed, their way of working, what kind of things they need during the day, how many team meetings they have, what do they need for meetings, and and they've translated that in this design, and without explaining specifically what the setup is, you see people using the different areas in the office for the purpose it's meant for, and that's a really good compliment for Dido.
And with like communication-wise, do you think this office space has increased communication, especially? Well, you just mentioned that the architect listened to every department.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that plays a role as well? Like it was really carefully thought of how important communication is and how we can, how an active communication can be, established.
Greater flow of communication between.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are more opportunities to meet each other and also to find each other here. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think no more questions.
No, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you for having us as well.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
very
man.
welcome. You know, that's one of the things of my job I really like, that you can also do things out of the box. And
And we're very happy to be part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
cool.
it's,
And let me know how it works out and what you think the results are. What would be your advice to other companies? Yeah.
We're all in favor for open working spaces as well. We've been
Yeah,
See
from
this
what we see
world.
so far.
We're-
And
Yeah.
everyone is
We've
also
all-
very how do you say, enthusiastic.
Stop recording.
Right, yeah. Everyone's also very enthusiastic about